Ukraine's Third Assault Brigade takes control of Nadiya in Luhansk. The soldiers of Ukraine's Third Assault Brigade have successfully liberated the Nadiya settlement in the Luhansk region. A video showing the brigade's assault group approaching on armored vehicles, clearing an enemy fire support point, and providing fire support for the landing operation. The video also shows the bodies of what are presumed to be Russian servicemen. Kyiv Post was unable to verify the time and location of the filming, which is part of a 30-hour operation. According to the brigade, control over Nadiya was restored by the 1st Assault Battalion. The total area liberated from Russian forces amounts to 3 square kilometers. Taking Nadiya cost the enemy 2 months of effort and resulted in 2 mechanized regiments, 752nd and 254th of the 20th Russian Army, being effectively wiped out, said Andriy Beletsky, commander of the 3rd Army Corps. Nadiya is a village located in the Svatyivsky district of the Luhansk region. According to the 2001 census, its population was 25 people. The village was first captured by Russian forces in March 2022, during Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. In October 2022, the Ukrainian Armed Forces, or AFU, regained control, only for the Russians to capture it again shortly thereafter. In late February, Ukrainian paratroopers recaptured the village of Kotlin near Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region, dealing heavy losses to Russian forces in a decisive assault operation, according to the airborne assault forces. The military report emphasized Kotlin's strategic significance, stating that its capture would have allowed Russian troops to advance toward the Pokrovsk-Dnipro highway. Aware of this, Moscow deployed substantial forces to seize the village. However, paratroopers from the 25th Separate Airborne Brigade, supported by other units, successfully prevented Russian forces from securing a foothold in Kotlin and ultimately forced them out. The operation was carried out with extensive artillery support, first-person view or FPV drones, and precision drone-dropped munitions. Battalion Commander Serhiy Gera said his unit began preparations on January 29th. Closely analyzing enemy movements, reconnaissance tactics, and defensive positions. Their strategy was to encircle Russian troops from the rear, cutting off escape routes and preventing them from entrenching themselves. Recently, with their initial advances securing key positions west of Pokrovsk, Ukrainian forces are now entering the next phase of their counteroffensive. As elite assault units push deeper into Russian-held territory, the town of Shevchenko has become the focal point of intense fighting, where the outcome could reshape the entire battlefield. The primary objective of Ukrainians in this area is to completely eliminate the Russian pincer on the western flank of Pokrovsk. After the Russians failed to take Pokrovsk into a pocket, they had depleted their offensive capabilities, and months of fighting had left Russian soldiers exhausted and unable to maintain the pressure. Ukrainians intend to exploit this weakness and push Russians back from Pokrovsk, allowing Russians to recuperate and prepare for a renewed offensive effort on Pokrovsk. To push the Russian forces out of this area, the Ukrainians initiated the second stage of their counteroffensive. The first stage enabled Ukrainians to establish control of frontline settlements, such as Kotlin, Pishain, and Uspanivka, as well as retake key defensive positions on higher elevations, thereby dismantling the immediate threat posed by the Russian western pincer. With Russian defenses breached, Ukrainians can now focus on Shevchenko, a strategically vital town and the last Russian foothold from which they could restart their assaults on Pokrovsk. If we take a look at the topographic map, we can see that Shevchenko is also the last remaining Russian foothold on the high ground plateau around Pokrovsk. Securing Shevchenko would give Ukrainians complete control of this area, creating a so-called Fortress Pokrovsk on the high ground. Additionally, from the high ground, Ukrainians would gain fire control over the Russian ground lines of communication of the Russian western pincer in the lowlands. This would be the nail in the coffin for the Russian efforts here, enabling a swift Ukrainian advance to reclaim the area. Overall, the Ukrainians continued their series of successful counterattacks as part of the broader Ukrainian counteroffensive at Pokrovsk. Taking Shevchenko would not only solidify a Fortress Pokrovsk on the high ground, but also place Russian positions to the west at risk of collapse. This means that a Ukrainian victory here would significantly shift the balance of power on the battlefield in this sector, giving Ukraine a stronger position in the ongoing peace negotiations.